Bradishos has been out for nearly a week now, with thousands of players leaving the game, plenty of criticism across social media, and a mixed review rating on Steam that recently shifted to mostly positive. I made a previous video discussing why Bradishos may be troubling for many players, including myself, given the number of flaws in its core design, and whoa, many of you guys had a lot to say in the comments. There was a lot of debate about whether the game is good or bad, with some viewers hating on the video simply because I was bringing up common criticism from the community. But the important point that many seem to ignore in that video is that Bradishos still has room to improve and could become a much better game overall. In fact, the team at Fen Research has been working incredibly hard to provide updates almost every day, and they just recently fixed one of the main issues that many players disliked about Bradishos. You can now customize your options to left click immediately to perform an action, like catching a fish with your fishing spear, or choose to right click first before performing that action. You can also rotate the camera by dragging with the middle mouse button, and you're now able to move by clicking on the minimap. While these are mainly quality of life improvements, they are a big step forward because they show the team's willingness to listen to feedback and make changes, which is absolutely appreciated. I'm really happy to see that Andrew Gower is starting to recognize this. But again, life isn't all sunshine and rainbows, and there are still a lot of things in Bradishos that can continue to be improved. And so for this video, we're going to focus on the suggestions that we can make in order for Bradishos to improve in the current state. And I'm gonna need your help with that after you have promised to watch the entire video. One important thing to understand before suggesting improvements is that Bradishos has been in development for 8 years. They began building the engine back in 2010 and finally started working on Bradishos itself in 2016. The team consists of just 8 developers who want to keep the project small and focused, which means they simply can't make huge changes without it taking a long time. Bradishos is planned to leave early access once all features are introduced, so as far as I know, there won't be any major changes during early access. They have also stated they're not interested in altering any fundamental aspects, like the episodic structure, core gameplay mechanics, or auto-scaling across all professions. This means we basically have to work within the game's current framework and make suggestions based on what's already in place. I made a community post asking what people think Bradishos needs the most, and the top voted option was the MMO experience and player interactions. This isn't surprising, because let's be honest, Bradishos doesn't really play like an MMO. In my opinion, it doesn't fully deserve the MMO label, as it lacks many basic features that other games in this genre already provides. With that in mind, I have put together a list of features focused entirely on player interactions that I would love to see in Bradishos. One feature I think would be really cool is the ability to inspect other players' armor and weapons, similar to World of Warcraft. This would add the social aspect, letting you check other players' progress and maybe even start conversations about where they got their loot. Currently, the process is pretty tedious. You have to click on the community tab, then select nearby players, click on a player's name, and finally choose info. This doesn't really encourage me to look up other players, and it's a tedious process that I believe could be done way better. But now, since you're able to right-click NPCs and other interactions, I would love to see this implemented for players across the world, where you could right-click their characters to instantly view their armor, weapons, total levels, and other details. This ties into the visual progression in Bradishos. There are max capes you can achieve to show off your progress, but for the most part, when I look at other players, they all look very generic. There isn't really any cool armor or weapons on display, and I would love to see characters equipped with visible weapons too. I don't think we should be running around with bare hands, and allowing players to equip their best armor and weapons would enhance the social aspect. If you're able to right-click a character and inspect their information, I would then also love to see an option to follow other players. Features like this can make it easier for friends to play together, and if I happen to make friends in Bradishos, the ability to follow them from one room to another would be a really cool addition. Before making videos about Bradishos, I was asked to join a guild and even lead it, but once the game launched, we realized there was no way to actually form a guild with other players. There isn't a way to create a group chat or build a community with like-minded players, and I think this is a crucial feature that could help the game thrive. At the end of the day, it's the community that decides if they want to keep playing Bradishos. It's not just about what the developers implement, but also about how players make use of those features and engage with the game. Along with that feature, you have to allow players to say what they want in the game without censoring too many words. Right now, there isn't any encouragement to talk with other players, as you are heavily censored with things that should be fun to say in the game. If you find a player that is hostile or toxic towards other players, well then you can just mute them, which is a feature that's always been available in many other MMOs. Right now, there doesn't seem to be an option for co-op gameplay, which makes it hard to engage in combat alongside other players. Introducing a way for players to team up for boss fights would create opportunities for future content, like dungeons and raids, which the game currently lacks. If players could engage in combat together in a smooth and balanced way, it would open up so many possibilities. Allowing multiple players to attack one enemy would also add a social aspect, as they could help each other out. Other games have already solved this problem. In World of Warcraft, for example, the first player to attack an enemy receives all the experience and loot, or like in New World, where every player who attacks the enemy gets experience, and I don't see why Brighter Shores couldn't follow a similar approach. It probably is obvious to you guys that many of these quality of life features already found in games like RuneScape. And as much as I want to avoid comparing Brighter Shores to RuneScape, the fact is they were both created by Andrew Gower, and there's no question that Brighter Shores appeals to some RuneScape players. But these are the features Brighter Shores desperately needs to enhance its MMO experience, and I believe if Andrew Gower focuses on the MMO aspect, it could allow players to form communities and enjoy the game in their own way. He recently ran a poll on Twitter asking the community what they would like to see improved, and most players still want more quality of life features. This clearly shows that Brighter Shores has a long way to go. While they may not change the episodic structure or core design, they can still refine the formula to make the game better overall. I'm hoping for the best of Brighter Shores, and while I may not be playing the game for now, I still plan to revisit the game in the future once it has more to offer. Let me know in the comments below what you think of these suggestions and what ideas you have to help improve Brighter Shores. I'm looking forward to reading your comments on what could make it a better game. That's about it, soldiers. I am out.